Hey, everybody. Thanks for being on today. We have a great coach from the East Coast that has been around probably as long as I have. So since 1745, you've seen some changes going on. So let's talk a little bit about where we are in the marketplace today, what your feelings are, your experience. So when you look at this position that we're in the real estate market, what are your thoughts that come to mind compared to what you saw in the past?
I have never seen anything like this. And I'm not talking about the real stuff because I'm talking about overall situation. It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I was talking to my wife a couple of days ago about it. We were in a ski resort here locally on the East Coast. You guys on the West Coast are much better.
No, I'm here. I'm on your side, man. I'm on your side.
Where are you?
Virginia Beach.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're
Yes,
just around the
I'm
corner.
close.
So, but our friends watching this and listening to this, you know, you on the West Coast and Colorado and all that, the skiing there is just superb.
Yeah.
And we were in this lovely cabin, and my biggest problem, biggest complaint was there was not enough snow. They had to make snow overnight, which,
Right.
you know, me spoiled brat from California and Mammoth and Colorado and Utah, I was complaining. And look at us today. Things
Right.
kind of have shifted, put things in perspective. Suddenly a little bit of man-made snow in a lovely ski resort in a beautiful cabin sounds like heaven compared to what we have today.
Yeah.
How
I mean, you
things
think
can
how
change
fast
so
the
quickly.
brakes went on. Think how
Right?
fast the brakes went on. It's like taking that old, when you had that brake in your car, just pulled it up really
Yeah.
quick. So what are you seeing? Let's go with the negative first. What are the mistakes people could be making right now in this market?
Freak out. Buy into this whole hysteria, number one. Number two, spend too much time on CNN or any other bullshit outlet that is trying to sell you advertising. Don't kid yourself. They don't have your best interest at heart.
Right.
That's number two. Number three, don't take care of yourself or the people who really matter to you in your life. And number four, think that this is the end of the world. It's not.
Right.
You've seen bad times in real estate and in the world in general. I mean, remember 9/11?
Yeah.
That was sad. That was horrible. That was traumatic. That was bad. We got through it.
Yeah.
And it was an unfortunate event, but these things happen. That's just life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You look further back, real estate, 2007, 2008, 2009 was a disaster. We got through it, sold over 4 million homes that year.
It's a combination. It's kind of like a combination of 2008, 2000 or 2001 and 2008. It's kind of like a little mix of that.
Yeah.
People got a little panicked. It's interesting that I talked to someone who went into a psychology class years ago when she was in college and said to me that people forget real quick.
Yeah.
They forget.
We will
real quick.
forget this too. Mark my
Yeah.
words. Once this is over, we will forget. We will forget. We tend to forget quick, which is kind of a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise we'd be carrying all this heavy luggage with us forever, which is not a point. But I think there are some lessons to be learned. One is when things go back to good, appreciate how good they really are. Appreciate those moments. Even something as simple, having a nice dinner with friends, which I miss. What do you miss the most, Bob? Let me ask you that. What do you miss the most? What is the first thing you're going to do once we go back to normal?
Well, see, I live at the beach and they just shut down the beaches. So that means I can't go paddleboarding when it gets a little warmer. But I think what is interesting is the opportunities that I think are going to come out of this that weren't here before.
Yeah.
And in our business. So, I was thinking the other day, I said, what are those opportunities that are here? What are those opportunities that may not have been here a couple of weeks ago or whenever this thing lines up?
Yeah.
So that's a great question to talk about is what do you think are some of those opportunities that weren't here?
Well, let's talk about it. Let's dive into the practical application of real estate, what I see. Now, take it with a disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I am not an economist.
Right.
I've been around real estate for over 20 years. I've seen all kinds of things like you, Bill.
Yep.
But with that, I see patterns. And I see patterns in human behavior. I see patterns in the market. And I see patterns in opportunities that will emerge from this. So here is some practical stuff that I think you guys will find helpful. Number one, remember, even in the worst of times, there will always be people who need to buy, who need to sell, who need your help, who need your guidance, whether it's right now, a month from now, 6 months from now. There will always be opportunities. US Census Bureau confirms that every year about 12% of us move. 12% of Americans move. This will put a damper on it temporarily, but what will also create is clients who 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, had no plans to move, whose life will change. Whether for better or worse, I don't know. That's not our control, or that's way beyond our control. But I can tell you right now that this economy and these circumstances will create new clients and new opportunities for you to find people who need your help.
Yeah.
So there is no need for despair. Will you have to pivot? Absolutely. Will it require more effort, more skill, more compassion, more confidence, and more competence? Totally, 100%. But it's totally doable. I'm here to tell you, I want to go on record. There will be agents out there, some of you hopefully my students, who 2020 will be their best year ever. And you know, the biggest obstacle they face is not the real estate part, the mechanics. Although yes, we have to make some significant shifts. And we'll talk about those in just a moment. The biggest shift has to happen mentally. It's the mindset.
Right.
Because it's so easy to pop a bottle of wine at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Fuck it, nobody's moving, nothing is happening. Might as well have some wine and go back on Facebook and go back on CNN and go back on all that. And I'm just as guilty. I'm not saying it's easy to maintain that warrior spirit, but you must. Because these are the times when your leadership, your skill, your confidence, even just holding it together when everybody else is falling apart and freaking out, you're looked upon, you're needed to be that guide, that centered, strong leader that people need and depend on. Because I'm here to tell you, friends, under normal circumstances, it's for general public difficult to figure this thing out. Real estate, you know, buying, selling, pricing, all that stuff. Even under normal circumstances, it's hard. Case in point, you ever met a FSBO that was priced right?
Yeah, that's a rarity.
Isn't that a rarity?
Yeah.
So it's hard for them under normal circumstances. Now you add this on top of it, of course they're freaked out. Of course they're confused. That's where you come in.
Yeah, huge opportunity in the FSBO market.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the expired market for pricing, right?
Yes.
And you know,
totally.
I read it, you know, the author of the book Alter Ego, Todd Herman, classified 3 types of people in business. He said they're going to be either panic focus, we kind of said that, unfocus, or strategy focus.
Where is that from? What book is that?
From Todd Herman. He wrote the book Alter Ego. Great book for you guys that want to read it. It's about transformation and being in the field of play. But he said that a panic-focused person will probably not make it to that place of survival for them in the industry. They'll probably just fall off, right? The unfocused person will have these up and downs. It'll be the typical agent, up and down. I have money, I don't have money, and goes through the life. But the strategy focused person will actually go through this process and have what you just said. That's what reminded me, this incredible leap in their business that they've never had before because they stuck with it. Their mindset is right. I thought it was a great analogy, not even analogy, a fact of the 3 types of people that are out there. And so I'm going, okay, there's I don't know if this is accurate, but they said 1.4 million real estate agents right now, 1.4. The average agent in America now, on the numbers that came out recently, the average agent does 3.9 deals a year.
Yeah.
So this could be a great opportunity for people that probably should have got a real job, get a job. And then now the people that are a strategy focused are able to now put their business to a place that's, like you just said, never been there before, have that production, have that income like they've never had before, as long as they stay in the strategy focused.
Yeah. And I am a big believer in systems and strategies. I believe being motivated is good, being inspired is great, having goals is important. But here's the thing. You meet agents all day long, every day, who have great goals, grandiose goals, big house, nice new car, vacations, and all that good stuff. And they don't reach them. So goal is not the answer. What gets you to your goals is have a strategy to reach it, have a system in place. And it's a combination of 3 things: the right mindset, taking the right action, and having a system that supports it. So my suggestion for you guys to not just make it through this, like, oh, I just survived through this, I'm all beat up and broke. No, you can really thrive. Now, I'll put a big asterisk to it. I'm not saying profit from the misery of people, profit from the calamity. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is get rewarded for being the person that public right now needs. And there's a great demand for somebody who's confident, competent, and compassionate. All right.
So let's break
So
it
with
down.
that,
Break it down to what you just said, mindset. How does someone, let's talk about the mindset that they need to have, because, you know, listen, yours, mine, anybody's mind can go in a tank in a short amount of time, and
sure.
it's how fast you get back. So how can we help them on some ideas on mindset?
Excellent question.
So, you know.
Yeah, that's a really good question. My grandpa used to say, you will not get a steak if you bring a chicken to the kitchen.
Yeah.
So what you're going to put in your mental kitchen is what you're going to get out. Especially now. And it's so hard because we're so bombarded right now with news and media and podcasts and Facebook and all that. And it's very seldom good news, although some of those memes are really funny. I got to give you that. They're entertaining. And we need a good laugh once in a while. But have a simple strategy. How do I stay focused? How do I keep that mind from wandering, from being scattered, from wasting so much energy and mental cycles on stuff that I can't change or I can't even do anything about other than feel shitty about, feel nervous, feel stressed and worried? So here's what I would recommend. Quick story, if I may.
Yeah.
New York City subways had a lot of accidents. They had a big problem with trains just hitting people, trains moving on a red light. They could not figure out how to get it under control. So they went to the world and they studied where can they pick up some strategy that would help them. And they discovered that the fastest trains are in Japan, the bullet trains, and they move, they go fast. They go, what, about 300 kilometers an hour? Super fast. And yet they're the safest trains in the world. And they were like, how the hell do they do that? How is that possible, going so fast and have almost zero accidents? It is the safest transportation in the world. So here's what they discovered. They have a system on Japanese railway system when everybody who participates, whether it's a conductor or the operator, called point and call. And you can YouTube it. It's kind of funny to watch these videos, but it is flawless because what they do before a train moves, the operator has to say, the light is green. I am moving forward. The doors are closing. They have this ritual called point and call. And what happens is rather than going unconscious, rather than just going on autopilot, which is what the New York City subway used to operate on, they consciously become very aware. This is what I see. I'm pointing to it. I'm accepting it. And this is my action. Apply the same to your business. Start becoming, when it comes to mindset, proactive, where you deliberately say, I am going to open Facebook and read the bullshit and see how it feels.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once you become aware, you take ownership over that behavior. Now, I'm not saying completely drop social media. Just start becoming aware. Start pointing and calling. This is what I'm doing. Because here's what's going to happen second. You start thinking, well, is this really the best I can do with my time right now? Will this really inspire me? Will this teach me something? Will this help me something? Or can I replace it with something else? And I'm here to tell you, yes, we are in lockdown. Like here in Virginia, we just were issued, right, Bill, yesterday, stay at home.
Yep.
Perfect opportunity to learn, to master your skills. So I'll give you an alternative to the stuff that feels like eating cotton candy. You know, it kind of just stuffs your face, but it doesn't really do anything for you. Become point and call deliberate about what you're going to put into your system.
Right.
Good books. There's plenty of them, nonfiction books. I'm reading right now Atomic Habits by, I believe it's James Clear. Great book, Atomic Habits. Really good book, how you can restructure the book, your mindset, how to develop better habits when it comes to health, business, and all that. Plenty of good resources out there, plenty of good books, plenty of good stuff to read. On mindset, one of my favorite is called Outwitting the Devil. Outwitting the Devil. It is by the same author, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. Excellent book. Actually, my preferred book over Think and Grow Rich. Really good book. There's a whole bunch of others. There is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, Tony Robbins books. Any of these will really help you shift your mindset. That's number one. Number two, just become more organized. I'm going to make a simple system, simple strategy, simple set of rules that I want to follow. You don't need to be too rigid. You don't need to be too detailed, but just have something like a roadmap. This is where I am. Here's where I'm going. And this is about how I'm going to get there. So that's first, the mindset. The second is start working on your skills. This is the beautiful thing about this business. You don't really need to have special talents. God knows I have none. I really don't. This good looks, they say, but you know, that's my wife's saying.
They're lying to you, man.
Right. So start working on skills. And there are 4 skills you can absolutely nail within the next 30 days to become really good at it. Communication, how you prospect, how you meet somebody for the first time and create first impressions, whether it's on the phone or in person. Now, if you're on a lockdown, abuse your spouse if you have to, or find a partner through Zoom or Skype or just a phone, and just start role-playing. It's a great opportunity. Second, how you handle objections. Third, how you set appointments, how you follow up and set appointments. And fourth, how you present. When you sit down with a seller, whether it's virtual and digital or face-to-face, how do you handle a listing presentation? You develop these 4 skills, you can become unstoppable within about 4 weeks. It really doesn't take any more than that. I'm a big believer in this kind of practice and role play, because if you watch all the biggest rock stars, all the biggest athletes, all the biggest anyone who's making big bucks, they practice, they drill, they work harder than anyone else. I was never a big fan of basketball. I'm not too big on that, but I started watching Kobe's videos after he passed away. That man was insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about work ethic, you talk about discipline, you talk about practicing, and really, it was not a matter of talent. He just wanted it more than anyone else, and he was willing to work harder than anybody else. Same with Michael Jordan. That man was insane when it came to like discipline and working hard, your ass off on your skill. You've got to do the same.
Yeah,
because
this is not an opportunity to lay back and relax.
No.
This is not a break. This is an opportunity for us to now hone our skills. You said something about Zoom. What's interesting is that for the people that are shy, you got to get over that one really quick, because now you're looking at this thing right here, talking to someone that's now going to see whether or not you're someone they want to work with because of this distancing that we have right now. So, you got to practice that. You may want to role play this with someone for your presentation, if that's going to be the way it's going to be for a while.
That's a really good point.
You can't get into a home. Is there a specific plan for how you're going to list these properties with the concerns of having someone come in that might be infected? What's your way of making that person feel comfortable that you're going to take over the most expensive thing they've ever bought in their life and protecting their equity? So it's really a whole different ball game, which I think it's a level playing field now, because it kind of reset everything. So the person who wasn't a top producer could possibly be a top producer in 6 to 9 months.
I agree with that 100%. Because here's the thing. The business hasn't stopped. Yeah. We have a great thread on Rockstars. It's one of the biggest Facebook groups I started 4 or 5 years ago, where we asked agents, post your statistics for today in your market. Yes, things are down, of course, and that's logical. That's to be expected. But friends, there are still new listings hitting the market. There are pending transactions, closed transactions, and here's the best part. They're expired. There are FSBOs. If somebody in this market is willing to put a house on the market as a for sale by owner, that's somebody in dire need of an expert. Here's all you need. Right here. Business hasn't stopped. You can still call people, you can still text people, or, and this is the best one, you can still send videos to people, you can still communicate. Which brings me to the next point. Picture your average consumer, your average buyer prospect, seller prospect, okay? And let's say you don't use even a tool like Espresso, which I really like, and you should, best way to get data on people, but whatever. But picture somebody sitting at home right now. They have 1 or 2 screaming kids running around, going bonkers. They binged on all the good shows on Netflix right now. Just watch how many people now posting, hey, what's a good show watching on Netflix? People burn through them like crazy. They're bored out of their mind. They consume social media like crazy. So now imagine you come in as a real estate rock star and you start flooding the channels with these good, cool, simple, easy, not complicated, not too salesy, informational videos. Simple stuff, nothing too complicated. What's going on with the market? How are you surviving? How this is going to impact the market? Now, don't speculate. Just tell them what you know. Share your insights. Share something funny that happened in your business, or the memory that stands out, or a client you helped, or something unique, anything. People are desperate for distraction and entertainment. Now, be careful when it comes to real estate videos, and I teach real estate videos a lot. I teach a lot of my students that. Entertain first, then provide information. It's not a coincidence that PBS is nowhere near as popular as Kardashians. PBS has a lot of good information. They just don't package it in an entertainment way the Kardashians do. So when you do these videos, make sure they're interesting. Number one killer of good video, they're boring. So avoid boring. But with that, if you start being in their face, now Yes, some people will put things on hold. They put their plans on hold. But because they're on social so much right now, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, you're constantly in their face with these 2, 3, 4, 5-minute short little videos. Man, you can establish so many new relationships, so many connections, and you can start positioning yourself as the authority, as an expert on a certain area, certain property type, whether it's expireds or FSBOs. You are the go-to person, because behind the information and the entertainment is that confident, competent, compassionate personality that comes through that people want now more than ever. Not a salesman, not a needy, desperate, "Ooh, like me," right in the middle, holding it together, but still be personable. And you can do this. Again, it's a skill. Now with video, just like with anything else, you practice a little, do a few terrible takes. I mean, I still have, and it's still, I think, on my channel on YouTube. If you go to my channel and sort videos by the oldest, it's probably still there. It's a red background. It's one of my first videos from like 2006, I think. I cringe still and laugh when I see it. It's so bad. But I leave it there so you can see the arc.
Yeah.
That it takes a few videos to get the groove going, to get the hang of it, to look into the camera, to be comfortable talking to someone, and make it in a way that's not boring, that's not salesy, that's not too fast, too slow, that's just right. You're going to get it right. So use this as an opportunity, because that's really what it is. It's a hidden, it's disguised underneath all this drama that we're going through.
Yeah.
But it's opportunity nevertheless. I
And
mean,
you can
Bill,
think
you
about the
remember in like 89, 90, 91, so many foreclosures, the market was tanking, interest rates were going through the roof, people are freaking out.
Yep.
Tons of people cleaned up during those days. Tons. There were tons of opportunities left and right. And I think the same thing is going to happen.
You know, you're talking about engagement. Basically, you're captivating that person and bringing them into your marketing that you're doing. So
Right.
you've got to be interesting, but you know, it's not easy if you don't practice.
Right.
You know, and so many people are video stars now that there's not either you're really bad at it or you're kind of good at it, but that middle ground, I think people are going to get good. Now, here's what's really cool, I think, is that because most agents are not going to be that good, that's back to that opportunity in the marketplace.
Yeah.
That's where I think these guys are going to be able to really take that client. What is it? I used to call it the, when you adopt a client, or you go ahead and have this client that this other person had for so long who didn't get in touch with. Now you can start pulling market share away from these other people that didn't follow up really well, and engage them into your world, and then keep them this time. Because I think right now, for that agent to go, you got to keep it.
Yeah. Well, let me give you a little food for thought on that, because you're absolutely right. And all these online leads is just an evidence of somebody's sphere system being broken down.
Right.
When a lead comes to an online forums and fills it out, that just means that person was not properly followed up and nurtured by some agent. Because I promise you, they know an agent. Everybody knows at least one. So if you lost a deal, or if you lost opportunities, it's because you're not nurturing enough. And these tools, like videos, like social media, like using send-out cards, like using phone calls, text, all that is at your disposal. That hasn't gone anywhere. And I don't remember who posted it, but somebody posted stats now, how many more people answer their phones, simply because they're bored out of their mind sitting home.
Yeah. What a great opportunity, man.
Yeah,
great opportunity.
This is a perfect time. Why not call like an expired 6 months ago, a year ago? I would totally do it. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, if you can. I know some states have different rules now. Follow those rules, do not call list and all that. I'm not saying violate rules, but beyond that, if there is somebody out there sitting going, well, sooner or later we want to try again, why not start building that connection and trust and relationship now? And then whenever they're ready, according to their timeline and their goals, you step in and says, let's get it done.
Think about the, Borino, the for rent by owners. I think there's a market there.
Yeah.
I think the for rent by owners is going to be a market that people are going to, because an investor may say, listen, and this is going to happen any kind of downturn or fluctuation in the marketplace, a person cannot pay their rent. A person's a first-time, second-time investor. He now can't afford to have that vacancy for a month or two, and he's going to have to unload. Don't overlook for rent by owners, because that's an opportunity that I think most agents are not going to go after, which Espresso now has, I know. But I see that as an opportunity. People are home. Investors may listen. They don't want to have this gap in their cash flow. So
I very much agree. That's a really good idea. I'll give you one more. Remember, this started, what, about 3 or 4 years ago? There was a huge wave of people doing Airbnb.
Yeah.
A lot of those people will now look for ways to either unload the property or do something.
Totally
Start
agree.
looking for these opportunities.
You know,
they will be out there. Now, I'm not saying be the ambulance chaser, but look for people who will need your help. And here's a food for thought for you guys. They will reach and use somebody. They will start a conversation with somebody. Why not you?
Yeah.
Would you rather they talk to some Joe Schmo part-timer who doesn't know what to do, or somebody who's competent, who not just wants the commission? That's fine. You need to pay bills and earn money. Nothing wrong with that. But who wants to genuinely help, who wants to be of assistance, either right now or maybe 2 months from now, 6 months from now, who knows?
Going back to what you said in the beginning is that, you know, hey, if I got a heart problem, I want to have the best heart doctor.
Yeah.
So if I started getting heart stuff sent to me and all of a sudden I go, man, you know, I'm not feeling really good, I'm going to call this guy up. Same thing that you just said, keep that engagement going with information that when they comes to that point, they're going to go, hey, I got to call this guy up. Think about all these people that thought they had this real estate thing figured out, that are now going to have to, you know, the ugly house people and all these people. The iBuyers are out of the scene right now, waiting to see where the prices are going to settle. So iBuyers has pulled themselves out of the marketplace and they're going to watch. I think in the next 90 days, we got to jump in there aggressively to go after these listings. They're going to come in when they figure out that the price is not going to adjust because they have a 15% spread that they're going to try to save. And we've kind of let that go. I think we talked about this before last time. So let's talk about actions, because you said we talked about mindset and systems. I wanted to talk about the actions, daily actions you think people need to be taking, because you get home, you got your kids around you, you could do all kinds of stuff, but now you got to take action.
And I know it's not easy. I have 2 at home. You know, I have 2 teenagers. One is middle school, one is high school. And so I understand the challenges, trust me. And I work out of the house. I have the downstairs converted into the Borino headquarters. So believe me, I know this is not exactly easy, but it needs to be done. Because the way it is right now is the way it's going to be for at least a couple months. That's my prediction. Who knows? Maybe longer. I don't know. But we can't just sit and wait. And it's the inaction that will kill you more than anything. So like, I complain and cry. I can't do it. Oh God, I can do my Orange Theory, you know, and I'm going to do the best I can. So I go running. I'm not a huge fan of running, but that's the best I can do. I'm going to do that rather than sit here and get fat and complain.
Right.
Because those are the 2 only options. You know, with my beautiful wife, Hannah's cooking, there is no third option. It's either
you blow up,
take care of it, you know. So going back, first, make a simple plan. Make a simple plan. Organize your day. That means you still get dressed, you still shower, you still shave, you still put on your work clothes, as it means business, because you're going to be on camera, you're going to be on Zoom. Be ready for it. Prepare your mind. This is a business day. I'm going to be productive. I'm going to get shit done no matter what. So that's 1. 2, make a simple plan. And all I advise is focus on 3 things that day. Generate new business. Invest time and effort to new business. I mean, what else is there? That's the best thing you can do. That's the most productive thing you can be doing. Whether it's calling new expireds, old expireds, reaching out to FSBOs. And with FSBOs, all I would do is, hey, I got some advice. I got some tips for you. I know this is not an easy time, but you need to protect yourself, but you still need to market the property. Offer the positioning of an advisor, of a guide. Perfect time to do it right now. Okay? So step 1, biggest thing is generate new business. And there are plenty of opportunities all around you. Step 2 is get a good CRM, learn it. Again, good time to do it. Pick one, good contact management system, learn it, and start feeding all these leads into it. Because the second thing you're going to spend your time on is following up, nurturing the leads you already have. And you're going to use the channels that are available. Some you can call, awesome. Some you can do FaceTime, fantastic. Some you can text, beautiful. Some you can take one-to-one video. That's great. Some you will send one-to-many video, these little generic videos. Some you will reach on social. Some you will incorporate all these. Some you will email. So open as many channels as possible. The more channels, the better. Now, good old mail is back in business. Good old mail now resonates.
Man. Mail's back.
We're back. Postcards are back. Letters are back. Use them. If nothing else, get a stack of nice cards and handwrite notes.
I forgot how to write.
There, dude. Did you ever see me write on this board? It's a disaster. Sometimes I sit here and I say, what the fuck? I don't know how to spell shit.
Yeah.
Where's the spell check? Oh, I need one of those spell check things.
Isn't it crazy how
Crazy.
just turn around and so the handwritten note, there was a study done, the book Influence, Science, and Practice, where they did a study that they sent out a survey to get filled out, and they got like less than 30% back. Then they put a yellow sticky with nothing on it. They got 34% back. They put a yellow sticky with someone handwriting something. They got 60-some% back.
Wow. So
a couple of things. One is that the law of reciprocity comes in, right? He gave me a yellow sticky. Wow, that's nice. And then it came back. And all of a sudden you start writing something that from you directly, which no one does anymore. So I guess here's a question that I think that people may make the mistake, and you may have a different opinion on this. This whole thing of massive mailing, bulk mailing, I'm not sure if that's the way to go. What do you think? Because
that's a good question. Forgive me, but I want to give you the third thing. So first one was generate new business. Second one was follow up with the leads you have. And third one, work your sphere.
Right.
Nurture the relationships you have with your sphere. I would start with your neighborhood, past clients, obviously current clients, of course, and everybody else. This is a great time just to say, hey, John, just thinking of you guys. You doing all right? How is the family? Need anything? Short, simple call. Text, hey, whatever. Use that. So those are the three things. If you just spend 3-4 hours a day doing that, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now, as far as the take on direct mail, my preference, because I tried, probably you have, and many of you guys have, different things. I have discovered that the more targeted the mail is, the more it resonates, the message resonates specifically with my problem and my situation, the better response I get. So I was never a huge fan. I mean, yes, there was a time we were running campaigns. We would send like 12,000 letters a month. You get response because you compensate with volume, but boy, was it expensive and tedious to produce.
Right.
It was a lot of work.
I really think it's going to be, as you said, more pointed, more focused mailing, back to the strategy, being focused. Yeah.
So even if it's like handwritten notes, now I'm a big believer, as you guys know, they call me the expired guru. I like when you have a nice expired letter. Now we modified the expired plus letter to reflect the current condition, but that with a little package can do wonders right now. You send it to the seller, they get it. You can follow up with a call, you can follow up with a text. Wanted to make sure you got it. Any questions, anything I can do, please let me know. You start a conversation, because here's the secret, guys. The direct mail itself is just a vehicle. You need to learn the art of ascendance. And that means I start at the bottom. What's at the bottom? Usually it's email. That's like the lowest form because it's disposable, it's free, and spam and all that. So you start from there. Can I take it higher? What would be higher? Maybe a direct note, like a handwritten note. What's above that? Text. Can I do text? Can I do video? All of that should ascend to a conversation. Because you can't list a house over a phone, over a text. You can't list a house just with mail. So you ascend, you always escalate, you always grow further, step above, until you can have that conversation. Because it's the conversation, it's the dialogue where you start building connection, you start qualifying, and you start positioning yourself all at the same time. And you start figuring out, who are these people? What are they trying to do? Can I help them? Are they in a position to move? Would it be better for them to wait, or is it better if they do it now? Here's the thing. Don't try to make decisions for them, especially in these kind of complicated times. What you want to do is have such a setup. This is important. Set up circumstances where they're so comfortable talking to you, they can tell you the truth. And it is hard. This is a hard thing to master. This is why the practice is so important, because it's not just what you say and how you say it. It is what you hear and how you listen and how you process that information, where you're not jumping ahead. You're not disconnecting, trying to figure out how you handle the objection. It is about being so connected to that person where you're not attached. You simply want to get to the truth. And the truth is, what's the best for them? What is the best for them? Okay? So
say that again. Say that again. Say that again. Say what you just said about that conversation. Because what you're saying is we got to get away from salesiness, right?
Yeah.
And have just a decent conversation with someone, that they drop that invisible shield or that guard that they typically do. And so your conversation has to be at a point where the fight or flight syndrome doesn't come in, because they're, you know, we talked about being dangerous, right? Every 5 seconds, your brain's going off going, is this safe or dangerous?
Yeah.
And when they feel salesy, they lie to you.
Yeah.
I got to go. My kid's in the car, or I've got to go. My wife's calling at me.
Or we'll call you when we're ready.
Yeah. We'll call you when you're ready.
That's just a brush. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go with now systems, and let's talk a little bit about what you think right now are some of the systems that are important. I mean, there's all kinds of systems that we need, but is this an opportunity for us to now enhance our systems, perfect them?
Yes. And I would evaluate if, like for example, one of the things I teach with the expireds is go and see them in person if possible. It is the easiest way to start building connection and trust super fast. That right now is out of the window in most cases.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is evaluate these systems, and every agent should have 4, maybe 5 good lead generation systems that produce predictable flow of leads.
Right.
That's the foundation of a good, successful business. Would you agree with that, Bill?
Yeah, definitely. No doubt.
So take it step by step. First contact, follow-up, qualification, appointment. Those are usually the 4 junctions you need with about every lead. What do you need to replace or insert for this funnel to still work? So if you take the personal visit out from the expireds, can you have a face-to-face on the phone? Sure. Can you send them videos? Absolutely. Can you use postcards? Can you use direct mail? Can you substitute some of that communication? The answer is in most cases, totally. But here's the best part. Like Bill pointed out, like you said very accurately, a lot of your competition will have no clue how to do this. Exactly. They will either drop out or struggle. So where you're going to come and you say, okay, here are my steps. When I work expires, like the Borino system is pretty simple. I call them, I text them, I email them, I visit them, I follow up. Those are the steps. So can I still call them? Yes, sometimes you can. If you use Espresso, you get their phone number, you get their cell number, you get their email. So now I have several channels open. Can I still mail them the expired package? Sure. And if your area and the rules right now are where you can visit them, heck yeah, I would go, if nothing else, drop off the package. Can I still follow up with them? Of course. Can you look them up on social? Absolutely. Can you have a little video, even pre-recorded? Hey, this is Borino with ABC Real Estate. You know, I'm really sorry about your house. Seemed like a really nice house. I know things are kind of crazy right now, but it's still surprising it hasn't sold. I'd be curious to find out. I was just wondering what your plans are. Maybe right now is best for you to put things on hold, or maybe you want to give it a try again. If you're still curious, what is the most a qualified buyer would be willing to pay? Shoot me a quick text. Let me know. I'll be happy to talk to you. Thanks. Bye. Done.
Quick.
I have this pre-recorder on my phone. I just fire it off. Now, if you want to get fancy, you can make it personal where you tell them specific street or name that resonates more. But even this is good enough. So you're going to start evaluating these systems, these processes you have in place, and you're going to start replacing. Can I insert Zoom in a pre-qualification? That'd be fantastic. Where you can share screens. They can show you a picture. Like my wife, Hannah, case in point. She has a very successful staging company. And right now, staging is pretty much out of the question. So she started doing these consultations where the seller, the owner of the property, holds the phone that are walking through the place as the seller is presenting the house, and she's giving notes and points. She's recording the entire session so that the seller can replay it later. Now, you know what Hannah discovered recently during this? Remember how I said there's opportunity in every corner?
Yeah, definitely.
She can have the seller anywhere in America. She just suddenly discovered there's a whole new chunk of business waiting for her, where she can do these consultations from a seller in California, in Utah, in Florida. It doesn't matter. That's a huge opportunity that she's going to now explore and expand. You can do the same thing. You can start seeing these opportunities where there were no before. And the technology, and this is going to be interesting because I think, Bill, tell me if you see the same thing. Some of these changes we see, like introducing Zoom and video, will stay because we'll go, well, fuck, might as well keep doing it this way. This makes more sense.
I think that's why it's going to change.
Yeah.
Again, the playing field's starting to change a little bit. Wouldn't this be great that we start going into a more of a regular scheduled day? We start doing presentations that are scheduled. You don't have to leave the office as much. You're really pre-qualifying the buyers and the sellers for your time, because you can't waste time right now, because if you waste time, you make no money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to bring back something again that you remind me of different things, that anxiety actually reduces the amount of creativity in your brain because it shuts down that part of the brain. Your wife, we always say creative people solve problems creatively. Well, she did. But if you're stressed and panicked and anxiety ridden, you're not even opening up that window to be able to figure out a way out of the situation for you.
That's a very good point. And it's a shift that she had to do in her mindset from this sucks and it's going to be hard to what do I have to do to make this work?
Yeah.
What do I have to do to keep the business or sustain the business or even better, expand the business?
Yep.
It was that shift. And you can do the same, guys. You can do the same. You can look around and say, where is the opportunity? How can I step up? How can I become that authority, that go-to expert? How can I establish that presence using these awesome tools we have at our disposal to communicate to my marketplace, to establish my presence, and then later convert some of it into business? And it's all around you.
Yeah.
It's all around you.
Isn't it amazing? She kicked in that creative thing, and now it's going to be a big opportunity.
Yeah.
So now the things that we need to be aware of are going to be a little bit different. Sellers are going, think about this for a second, Borino. What do you think? Sellers are going to make sure that the agent has a system of making sure we're not bringing an infected person into my listing or their house, right? So there's a couple little nuances that weren't there before. You know, you just said eliminating the going to the house. Now someone says, I got to move because let me tell you, if you're an Amazon driver, if you're a delivery company, some of these grocery stores are going to open up these new jobs. People are going to be able to afford to buy that never bought before because now this thing has opened up. But now maybe they have to sell a house to move up, and they want to make sure no one infects their house. Isn't that? It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, that. And I was thinking the other day, I said, well, you know, maybe I have to have a home cleaning company that I can rely on that knows how to do a deep cleaning that will satisfy the owners to let them know this is part of my team. That's an idea.
That's a great idea. Yeah. What I would suggest is put together a strategy. Yeah. Where can I avoid or eliminate or at least reduce the exposure? What is the safest thing to do? Like virtual open houses, broker open houses, virtual, property promotions that don't involve physical, offers subject to inspection. Now we know a lot of lenders are switching appraisers to exterior only plus pictures. So there are all these things you can do to mitigate the exposure and the danger. And also, and this is just as important, if not more, it puts the seller at ease, which is vital. Because if they feel at ease, like they're in good hands with you, they're safe, they will select you. You'll be their guy.
Yeah, that word safe.
Yes.
That's an interesting word right now.
Yeah.
So if we don't display, if we don't feel that we're protecting them, if they don't feel that you're the person that can protect them, they're going to go to that person. And that person that they felt doesn't protect them might have been an agent they've been using for the longest time. They will go to the person who now knows what's going on with the marketplace and how to satisfy those situations that are uncomfortable, that people really don't know how to solve. So I think that's great. So here's what I think we should talk about last, so we can wrap up here in just a little bit. What do you think we need to be doing, I don't know, in the next 90 days in the intensity of our work? I mean, because it changes every quarter is going to change. Something's going to change every quarter until it levels out. So we got 90 days. I know that all our business plans and all the things we had planned are now out there. So do you recommend a short-term 90-day plan focusing on what? What do you think?
In addition to what we talked about, focusing on generating business, doing all that, my suggestion would be keep a very close eye on the market. Keep an eye on the market. Watch closely what's going on. The number of new listings coming on the market, pricing, days on the market, pendings and solds. Keep a very close watch what's going on because it's going to change dramatically. That's number one. Because you're going to be looked upon as a market expert, not to foresee where this is going to go. Guys, trust me on this. Nobody knows where this is going to go. The smartest people, including Warren Buffett and Bezos, nobody knows.
They have no
nobody, because there are so many forces influencing it. We just don't know.
Right.
So don't try to predict, but what you can do is educate your clients, give them, but this is important. Don't give them information, give them insight. Here's the difference. When you give them information, you tell them, well, the average days on the market in our neighborhood is 37 days. That's information. Here is what it means to you, Mr. Seller. That's insight. That means it's going to take us about 30 days to lock in a qualified buyer. It's another about 30 to 45 days to close the transaction. That means if you want to be in Florida by June, we need to put it on the market now. That's insight. That's the guidance. So one, educate yourself. Really keep a very close eye. What's going on? Go preview property. Not preview, of course, drive by. See what's happening in the marketplace. Is the inventory going up? Is it about leveled? Is it going down? And what does that mean? Where do you see the prices headed in this window? Compare it to last year. Compare it to the last 90 days. Stay on top of it. That's one. Two, stay on top of it, financing. The mortgage industry right now is experiencing quite a bit of turmoil. Some mortgage lenders, now jumbo loans, you might have heard the news that they're having trouble. There's all kinds of things that would be going on. People think like, oh, cool, we got the coronavirus the program. I don't have to pay my mortgage. Not so fast, Buster. It doesn't work that way. Somebody's going to pay for it sooner or later. So stay on top of it. Is it changing? If you're representing buyers or if you're getting offers on your listings, you must know what's going on. So educate yourself constantly. And then three, and this is the toughest one, don't worry. We're going to be all right. We've survived other things. We'll survive this too. And by survive, I mean figuratively and also as an industry. We're not going anywhere. Now more than ever, you'll see when this blows over, there'll be a huge demand for experts, for competent, confident guides who can make sense of this complex thing that's difficult to begin with. And after something like this, even more so. So keep it cool, keep it together.
That's great. I think what you're saying, and you could actually wrap it into, remember years ago, I used to teach KPIs, key performance indicators.
Mm-hmm.
All you said, hey, MLS stats, the financial markets, the mortgage industry, right? What's happening in the news to a certain extent, you've got to listen just so you know where things are going. So you can, what you said, give insight to, or translate the information into what it means for them. That's what you're saying, right? Yeah. So this is awesome. So Borino, this is always fun, man. We always have a good time when we
Bill, I could stay here for 2 more hours.
Yeah,
just pop a bottle of wine and talk real estate.
Hey, wait a minute, we can do that.
We can totally do that.
We can do
I'm
that.
game.
Yeah.
You know what we'll do? I'll tell you what we'll do. I will bring you on. There was something with Zoom. We cannot push to Facebook these days. Something went haywire.
Really? I didn't know that. No.
Something went offline. But when that comes back online, I would love for you to come join us on Rockstars, and we'll have a glass of wine and talk real estate. I think
that'd be cool.
Awesome.
It'd be like a fireside chat with wine.
Yeah. That'd be
terrific.
All
right, man. So listen, we'll get this out, and thank you so much for your time, and we have to do this again.
Love it. Thank you.
Care.
Thanks, guys, for having me. Stay strong, be safe, stay healthy. We'll be okay. We got this.